Okay.
Okay, in other words, after Grandpa Naegle died and until Grandma Naegle died, it was what? Just Mineral?
I don't know when they changed it from Mineral Saints to Naegle Land and Cattle Company, but whenever they incorporated it, they dropped the Mineral Saints and went to Naegle Land and Cattle Company.
You can go to the Corporation
Yeah,
Commission
you
and
find out when the papers were filed.
Okay.
I think it had something to do with when they were leasing that Indian property. They had to show something of value. Cap Naegle, he gave it to Roy, and we'll never see it again.
This younger Cap?
Younger Roy,
Young
young Cap
Cap.
Naegle, that's the one in New Mexico.
Okay.
Or I think he's in Texas now. But they needed $50 to pay the lease. They didn't have $50. And all of your uncles carried a life insurance policy. And they all cashed their life insurance policies in to come up with $50 to pay the lease fee.
That's your great uncles.
Yeah.
So that's
But that lease fee was
Indians. Indian servants.
But that was what were they trying to accomplish then? They were about to lose some land.
About to lose their lease with the Indians.
And when was that?
That would have been prior to 1938. Cap Naegle offered those papers to me, and I said, "No, Cap, I'm just not into genealogy." He sent me some one time. I'll go through my stuff, and if I can come up with. Anyway, Roy Naegle was standing there at the time, and Little Roy. And Roy butted in. He says, "I'd like to have him." And Cap said, "Well, there's one stipulation that you make copies and everybody gets a copy."
This is just a couple of years ago,
Just
wasn't
a
it?
couple of
Yeah.
years ago.
Okay.
Have you seen anything?
No, but
But we know where to go ask.
yeah, but okay, this is when Cap brought a whole bunch of documents. And Judy has a bunch of those things.
Judy who?
Judy Hunter.
Does she? Oh, yeah. She conned.
Yes, Cap brought a whole bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
and she made copies. So you might be able to get some information from her. But the stipulation was that Roy, the Cap told him right out that you're supposed to make copies and give to.
Now, this is Cap Naegle, not my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cap Carlos Naegle.
Yeah.
and after Roy left, I told Cap, I says, "It ain't gonna happen, Cap." And it ain't happened.
I don't want to break your train of thought because I see you leading this, but what I want to hear is some of the personality traits of some of my great uncles that I did not know, so I know where I get my good and bad personality. I mean, and I kind of get the idea. I mean, I know my uncle, I know my dad, and I know Cap, and I know Guy, and I know my aunts. So where did your personality traits come from? I was talking to Charlene about how we talk and bark when we talk a little bit. And I thought we got that a little bit from DC, but she doesn't remember DC ever yelling.
He didn't.
No, he didn't. I don't remember him.
But maybe if you
He
can...
never disciplined us. Mama always did the disciplining.
Either that or he'd get Casper and Dawn to do it.
Without divulging anything, how did she discipline? What?
She
Well, I can
had a quirt.
I recall a quirt.
A what?
Yeah, it's
A
a
quirt.
quirt. It's that Grandpa made it. It's a horse whip.
Braided leather
A horse whip.
whip.
Grandma Phyllis had one. We were acquainted with Grandma Phyllis's.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had that whip, she just had to tell us about it, and we minded really good.
Anyway, you get that across the legs and then.
Yeah, she only had to use
And
it
then-
once.
Really thing, and then we would go into the back room was our punishment. and not play for a while. And we had some time
After you got, what'd you call it, a
a
quart?
quart.
Quart.
Yeah, it's a horse quart.
Well, it's leather with a kind of.
Buy your
stiff
books
part.
and buy your books.
You never bought me a hash knife.
Anyway,
Well, he should have bought a quart.
He had a paddle. It had wood, it had a handle that you could put your fingers into. I felt it plenty of times.
but the quart was made by Grandpa.
Donnie's name was on one side and Johnny's was on the other.
Maybe that was it.
He braided the leather all around. That what was a steel metal thing here, and then all the way down. And when Mom, there's a story that when Mom was a little girl, Grandma was sick, and she couldn't braid Mother's hair. So Grandpa braided it. Said he pulled the hair so tight, she couldn't close her eyes.
My dad did the same thing when my mother was sick. He
Yeah.
braided my hair and my eyes went like this.
And my dad never disciplined Shirley and I. My mom did.
Yeah.
She took a fly swatter to me a hell of a lot of times.
Okay.
But Daddy
Never.
never spanked us or anything.
What would he do?
Yeah.
Give you a dirty look?
He'd yell and he'd tell us, hey, straighten up.
I think my mother ended up
And
in
then-
that quart.
She probably did.
And when we get home,
Man, we did that thing so many
Mom would
times,
come
I always
after.
find it.
Let me ask, what was Phyllis like? Was she,
She's ornery.
The only one that could handle it was Ellie, and he didn't pay attention to it.
That's about it.
He'd make some smart remark and had it calm her down. He always had. But you were asking about your uncle's their demeanor.
Yeah.
Now, Uncle Gene was real easygoing. I've never seen that man lose his cool. He was kind of like Uncle Cecil. You could do something bad, and he'd just come over and put his arm around you. Never berate you. He might scold you a little bit, but I never seen him lose his cool. Now, Uncle Al and Uncle Roy and Uncle Greg, they were kind of like me. They didn't mind yelling. They just boom it out.
Well, that's an interesting perception, because I remember when me and Greg were with Uncle Cecil, and he saw trespassers about a mile. And we drove as straight as a crow flies. And I've never seen a man come unglued like that in my life.
Well,
Oh,
now
right
you're
there.
talking about
right there.
you're talking about something different.
We were out there one summer putting in that drinker out there at the big mill. Or the big, I don't remember whether it was a drinker or the big tank.
It was a drinker.
And we started back into the ranch house in the evening. And Daddy and I and Guy were in the truck. And I turned around and there was a truck trying to go up the side of that cinder knoll. And I said something to Daddy and he turned around. And it was dry and hot and dusty and we hadn't had a damn lick of rain. And we got out there and that guy's backing that truck down the side of that timber knoll. And Guy got out and jumped all over this guy. And he said, do you know that you're on private damn property? And you didn't ask any damn permission to be out here? And a whole lot of other things. And he said, you get in your damn truck and you get the hell off of this land. And you stay the hell off of this land.
Yeah,
He says, you're tearing up the only grass we got growing right now.
I thought old Bill Schrader was with us. No, he, no, not one.